Distraction is sponsored by Omega Bright, the premier natural advanced omega-3 formula for mind, heart, and joint health. And by Talkspace, the online therapy company that believes that therapy should be affordable, confidential, and convenient. For a special offer, visit Talkspace.com/distraction.
So, cool. Ow, 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 ow.
It looks like Jigglypuff, like it's just like gooing all over me.
This is gonna hurt so bad coming off.
Wait, we should have tested it. Hold on. What if this rips off my skin? Oh my god.
Did that not hurt?
Dude, I don't care at this point. I told you, I've done a lot of challenges on YouTube. I don't feel normal people pain. When I say this is burning...
You're just putting it on your skin and oh my god, Chris, this doesn't hurt at all.
It hurts a lot, but not compared to this.
Hello, and welcome to Distraction. I'm Dr. Ned Hallowell, your host. I'd like to take a moment to thank you for listening and tell you how excited we are to be approaching our 1-year anniversary of the podcast and to start our second season. This is honestly very exciting for me. I'm 67 years old, and this is a whole new venture that I really didn't know what I was getting into when Barry Berman and his great troupe at CRN invited me to do it. And now a year later, I actually look forward to driving 2 hours to New Haven and driving back 2 hours on Mondays to do these podcasts. And the team of Sarah Gerton and Scott Person and the others down there, it's we have like a little club, and we've been having a lot of fun. I hope you have been as well. And please let us know what you'd like to hear. We're here to serve you. We're here to build a community. And the way we do that is by, taking your suggestions, which we absolutely do take. So you're really the directors. And please get in touch with us. Go to distractionpodcast.com. Give us your thoughts. Tell your friends about us. Download us on iTunes. Let's build this community and really learn together, have fun together, and enjoy the unpredictable benefits of connecting in the way that we do. All right. With that said, let's get on with the show. My guest today is a young man who has found incredible success as a YouTube blogger. Chris Ofling has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he's only like 20 years old, who tune in every week to watch videos of his wacky stunts and emotional outpourings. He's a really brilliant young man. And with all that success, Chris still finds himself struggling. He reached out to Distraction, to us, with an email and agreed to talk with me on the show today. I think you'll find it illuminating, interesting, and in really many ways heartwarming. Would you like to tell my listeners about the email you sent me?
Sure. Okay. So through YouTube, I made a mistake about a little bit over a half a year ago on YouTube with my girlfriend at the time. And this mistake, it's just like, I've always been the kind of person to really take the opinions of others into consideration. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people came at me when I made this mistake. And it ruined, I let it ruin it, and I can see that now, but I let it ruin my relationship, and I let it ruin me personally. And I had a situation, with my old roommate where, I just kind of dipped out. I couldn't stand the drama anymore and the tensity of the situation. And so I moved out, and I was sort of just living out of my car and with friends for a while. Not that I couldn't afford it, but for some reason I had convinced myself in my head that, I wasn't going to make money anymore. And I needed to keep all the money that I had made from YouTube to pay for college because I needed to live a normal job. So then one day I got really, really sad. And I remember that I watched a video when I was 17, and it said, if you're like really at the brink of being sad and you feel like you're just like completely out of control, go somewhere where your problems don't matter anymore. So I went to Haiti, and when I was in Haiti, I read your book, Delivered to Distraction, and I started reading it, and immediately I found myself in the book so much, and I've actually been diagnosed with ADD before, but I never believed it was, a real thing. I'd been prescribed Adderall. I mean, I'll just be straight up about it. A lot of my friends abuse the drug. I didn't really believe that I had ADD. I kind of believed it was a medical scam because, Adderall to me, every time I took it, like, it made me feel really good. And to me, it was like, well, the doctors told me, I have ADD, and, if I give this to my friends or something, I shouldn't, because it'll make them ADD. But when I take it, it makes me normal. And I was like, well, this doesn't, like, I just didn't get it, I was like, no, this feels like the way that people describe it to feel. I feel focused when I take this. It increases my mood. I just thought it was a scam, but I started reading this book, and, I immediately saw myself in it, so much so. It was just like such a big moment in my life. But, I'm still very confused because, I don't know, I've had a really bad month, and when I think about my brain and my life and, like, the way that everything happened, I get so confused because I almost feel like I'm trying to be my own doctor. I'm very confused as to if I even have ADD now, because I look at my thoughts and my brain, and a lot of people, they get really upset at me for the way that I handle things and the way that I look at things and my perspective. And
in what way have you had a bad month?
I guess I was very out of control, and I didn't have any organization, any structure in my life. So when I finally moved back to LA and came to Haiti and moved into a house, I thought I was going to have, like, complete organization. I thought I was going to figure everything out. Right. But then as I started to do it, I started to realize, like, I really can't. And so I tried to, use my medication because they just ship it to me. I use Adderall to try to focus and get things done. And I noticed, like, I was getting things done, but like, it was very discoordinated. I would write lists all over the house, and there would be just so many lists, and I wouldn't know where to begin. Lists everywhere. It almost looked crazy. I looked at it and I was like, this is what crazy people do.
Like the scene from A Beautiful Mind where he's posting things all over the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was weird. And then I started to, I isolated myself pretty much into my room. And, I thought I was fine because I wasn't really getting depressed. And as much as I say I get really sad, I can't find myself getting depressed. I only get, like, manic. I only get, like, very high and low. I really went down a wrong path. I started to use a lot of other things other than my medication to try to supplement the lows that I was feeling. I switched it out towards the end of the month with Vyvanse, which was amazing because, I don't know, I felt like, sorry, I just feel weird talking about, like, individual drugs and stuff. I feel like it's almost a little bit inappropriate. Not for me personally, for you. So that's why I'm so hesitant.
Oh no, it's so you tried various drugs and Vyvanse. Or just for people listening, Vyvanse is a sort of a longer acting version of Adderall. It's the same active ingredient.
It felt so different to me, and it would last
in a good way, right?
In a good way, yeah, in a very, very good way. Yeah. Whenever I take Adderall, I feel like I have to use other drugs. I don't know if that makes sense, but when the come down comes for me, which is like 4 hours into it, I feel this massive urge to, like, use another drug or take more Adderall. And with Vyvanse, it would last like 24 hours. He started me off on a pretty big dose, I think, and he just, like, shipped it to me. It was my doctor in Wisconsin. I really do need to get a doctor here, but when I tried to, he just kind of, like, yelled at me about ADD and sort of seemed to think I was, like, wanted to abuse it. But yeah,
it's hard to find someone who understands it is the problem.
Okay, Chris, hang on for just a moment. We're going to take a break to talk about our sponsors. I'd like to talk to you for a moment about Omega Bright, the premier natural advanced omega-3 formula for mind, heart, and joint health. Now, as I've been telling you over the past few months, I take Omega Bright myself, my wife takes Omega Bright, and I recommend it to my patients. In fact, Omega Bright is recommended by more doctors than any other omega-3. It's good for your heart, it's good for your mind, and it is especially helpful for those with bipolar disorder, ADD, depression, and mood swing disorders. It promotes positive mood, focus, cognitive clarity, and overall good health.
You can order Omega Bright directly by calling 1-800-383-2030 or by going to our website, distractionpodcast.com, and clicking on the Omega Bright logo. Okay, and now I want to tell you all about our newest sponsor, Talkspace. I don't know if it's just me or the winter or the snowstorms we've had in the Boston area or what, but it seems like there are a lot of folks around that are feeling a bit down lately. And that's why I'm excited to introduce our new sponsor this week, Talkspace. If you've ever thought about going to therapy but found it too inconvenient, too expensive, or just too embarrassing to make it into an office, then give Talkspace a try. Talkspace is the online therapy company, and they make it easy to connect with a licensed therapist handpicked just for you for as little as $32 a week. Using Talkspace, you can text, audio, and video message your therapist as much as you want. Your Talkspace therapist can listen to you vent about work or family, explore your relationships with the people around you, and help put you on the path to a happier life. To sign up or to learn more, go to Talkspace.com/distraction. And as a special offer for our listeners, you can use coupon code DISTRACTION to get $30 off your first month and show your support for this podcast. That's code word DISTRACTION and Talkspace.com/distraction. Talkspace, therapy for how we live today. And lastly, we're participating in a movement this month called Tripod. That's TRYPOD. Get it? Try podcast, Tripod. Tell a friend, your mom, anyone about a podcast that you think they'd really love. Just hit the share button on the bottom left of your screen and let us know what podcast you're sharing on social media by using hashtag Tripod. That's hashtag Try Podcast, TRYPOD. Thanks for spreading the word. Okay, we're back with Chris Oathling. Chris, how did you get your start on YouTube?
Yeah, sure. I really started it when I was a kid, and then when I was 18, I sort of kind of faced all my fears. I moved out to LA, and it just sort of happened to work. And yeah, I've reached over like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I've done a lot of things with Huffington Post, and you know, it's very amazing because my whole life I felt, you know, very out of the box, and to know that I've come this far, it seems very bizarre to me because this literally was my childhood dream.
Your childhood dream was to be a YouTube blogger?
Sort of in a way. I wanted to be a filmmaker. That was my realistic impression of the dream of being a YouTube vlogger. But you know, like the actual, like my unrealistic childhood dream that people told me I could never do was to be a YouTube vlogger.
Really?
Yeah.
And now you're doing it, and you have over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And how did you learn that? You're only 20 years old. How did you learn the business?
Well, I learned it from my friends when I was young because I actually had a friend in Wisconsin who started doing it. We did it together. And then, you know, he met more people and I met more people. And then when I moved out here, I started working with more people in entertainment. And my management, of course, I learned from them.
That's so impressive. And was there a big break that you got?
Well, I think I just watched a lot of YouTube, you know, growing up. And I really started to develop, like, you know, what my niche was inside of YouTube. And I really started to see how, you know, people's, like, I guess it's kind of funny that we're talking about ADD in YouTube because, I guess there's a distraction in YouTube, but because I started to notice, like, how people really, like, click on things on the internet and on YouTube especially because YouTube and every other social media is very different.
What is your niche? You said you wanted to find your niche. What is it?
Well, I actually have a few different ones. My one is really like emotional videos, talking about, you know, opening up and talking about, you know, deeper things, more things that, you know, aren't really surface level. And the second one is being very wild, very crazy. And like I did some videos, like I actually covered myself in bananas and and walk through a fireball. And I did it just for the laughs, but the whole idea behind it was that my friends and I were just sitting around one day, and I was blowtorching a banana. And they were like, "You just ruined and wasted that banana." But when I opened the banana, it was completely clean. So then that idea sort of generated from that, and we just decided to do it.
So banana skin is a good fire protectant, huh?
Yeah, that was the whole joke in the video. Like, will this make a good fire protectant? And it did.
And what about the other niche where you said emotional things? What can you give me an example?
Yeah, well, I think the first video that started it all off was I made a video talking about being a guy and wearing makeup and, my sexuality on the internet and everything because, on the internet, when you're a guy and you look kind of the way that I do, which is very like small, tiny, people just assume that you're, gay. And that was sort of a thing that a lot of people assumed of me, and then they would make comments about me, wearing makeup in my videos just to cover up acne, but they make a lot of comments about it and a lot of assumptions. So I opened up and talked about it and talked about how my whole life, different people have made these assumptions of me, and that video just blew up. It skyrocketed. I called it I'm a straight male and I wear makeup. And, I got a lot of messages from that video. So ever since that video, I started making a lot of, more personal videos, but I have a really hard time taking myself out of it. Sometimes I go a little bit too overboard, but yeah, that's my second little niche.
Well, one of the recurring themes of my podcast is the theme of connection. The title of the podcast is Distraction, but it really is about connection because I think people are starved these days, and it's so ironic because we're electronically hyper-connected, but I think people are really starved for what you're providing, the emotion, the personal story, something that isn't just cookie cutter, stereotype, pigeonhole, and there you are saying, look, just because I look a certain way, it doesn't mean you can put me in your pigeonhole.
Yeah, exactly.
And was that the one that launched you? Was that your biggest one, or
there's just been so many different big ones. I mean, that was one of the biggest ones. I don't know if you remember that 100 Layers challenge on YouTube. It was sort of kind of a thing on the internet. People would they would cover themselves in 100 layers, or they would create 100 layers of some sort of thing. Like I did a few, and they got like anywhere from like 2 to 4 million views, I think.
Wow.
They were like 100 layers of wax, and I did it on my face and on my hand. 100 layers of latex all over my body, and I did it just for the ridiculousness of it, to be very directly absurd and almost satirical.
Right. I just think the story that you tell is so remarkable, and it's a very typical ADD story. You're a born entrepreneur, and you're a genius. You're incredibly creative. And right now, all that's missing in your life is the proper guidance and structure. And that's sort of a general message for everyone listening. If you identify with this kind of story, high creativity, lots of ideas, strong entrepreneurial drive, and lack of structure, then it would make sense for you to go see someone like me who understands what this condition is, as I see it, as a trait, not a disorder, and get help to create the structures that'll make your genius sustainable and enjoyable. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, of course. That really means a lot to me. Yeah, I have a lot of self-doubt, and I still even believe that this all sort of happened by accident. So thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Well, my pleasure. Take care.
Bye.
All right, that's our show for today. My sincere thanks to Chris O'Fling for speaking with us today. Really, thank you so much. I appreciate his sharing his story. And, everybody struggles in life in one way or another. And I think while it's inspiring to hear about successes, it's also kind of reassuring and strengthening to hear about frustrations and failures, because gosh knows we all encounter those, maybe more than we do the successes. It's, the
great line I love from the poem If you can look at triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. The notion being that victory is not as great as it's cracked up to be and defeat is not as bad. What really matters, the real sustainable victory, if you will, is staying in the game. Just keeping up your hopes and keeping at it, staying in the game, getting up every day and staying in the game. And then, the ups will come, the downs will come, but if you stay in the game, you're always going to have that feeling of hope. And I hope with these shows we reinforce that a little bit. Distraction is produced by Collisions, the podcast division of CRN International. Collisions, podcasts for curious people. Check out the most recent addition to the Collisions lineup, Stockton, hosted by the great Dick Stockton, one of the world's preeminent sports broadcasters. Dick now brings his insider knowledge, opinions, and storytelling to sports fans every week. Check out Stockton on iTunes. Today's show was produced by the absolutely wonderful Sarah Gerton, who's about to go on vacation to Hawaii, and recorded and mixed by Scott Person, who will be left all by himself back at the studio. Our original music was created by Mark Berman. Thanks to our sponsors, Omega Bright, the premier natural advanced omega-3 formula for mind, heart, and joint health, and Talkspace, the online therapy company. Talkspace makes it easy to connect with a licensed therapist, handpicked just for you, for as little as $32 a week. Using Talkspace, you can text, audio, and video message your therapist and talk about your life, what's keeping you up at night, or even your annoying coworker. To sign up or to learn more, go to Talkspace.com/distraction. And to show your support for this podcast, use code DISTRACTION to get $30 off your first month. Talkspace, therapy for how we live today.